Alrighty, welcome back, boys and girls. It's your main math man, Miss Shank, coming to you live from Mayfield. And in this video, we're going to be working with some a little bit of intro to algebra because we're going to be combining some like terms. And if you think about your integer operations from last year, from 7th grade, you'll be totally fine. So I'll give you a step-by-step guide. I'll go through the whole front side with you. I'll do one on the back, and then I want you to be able to do those last couple ones, and you can check for yourself using the examples I give you. Alright, so let's dive right in. Alright, so it says, given an example expression, so you have negative 7y plus 4 minus 13 plus 9y minus 8y plus 2. So a lot of stuff going on. So you want to first list how many terms we have. And again, you want to use that vocab sheet I gave you to kind of get yourself familiarized and used to seeing these different terms and lingo. So we're just saying, what are our terms? Again, a term is this entire value here. It includes that sign. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So we'd say we have 6 total terms. And we want to make sure we can group those like terms together. Again, what does that mean to have a like term? Well, like terms share a variable in common. Constants are the numerical values with no variable attached to them. That's just saying, all right, if it has a letter in it and it's to the same power, meaning it's just to that first power, you can combine those like terms. The constants, those are just the numbers that you can see on a number line. Okay, you can say, hey, I know for sure that's 4 because I can count 1, 2, 3, 4. I know for sure that's negative 13 because I can count down to negative 13. Again, those constants have no variable attached to them. So let's go ahead and group those together. And so I'm going to have our variable terms are going to be on the left here. And so I have negative 7y, positive 9y, and negative 8y. So those, are going to go together. And then our constants are just those integers. So we're going to have positive 4, negative 13, and positive 2. All right, so now what are we going to do? Well, let's go ahead. We can combine those like terms, and let's see what we can kind of get with that. All right, so we have those constants and variable terms above, and we want to combine those like terms. So again, you want to do this. Let me get this on screen for you. There it is. You want to do this by looking at the coefficients. And what does that mean to have a coefficient? Well, it's just that front value attached to that variable. So I'm saying negative 7, positive 9, and negative 8. And so let's actually, let me bring these in here. So I'm talking about those variable terms where their coefficients are listed here. Again, if you want to use a highlighter like I am, please do. Feel free to help yourself out. That way you can make it a little bit easier for yourself. Again, you combine those, and when I'm saying combine, you want to add those two, or those three, excuse me. You want to add those values together. You want to make sure you include those signs though, because that if you just start adding numbers together, you're going to get a little bit different results at the end. So you want to make sure you include that sign. So we're going to say, all right, the result will be your new coefficient. So what am I going to do? I'm going to add together, I'm going to add negative 7, positive 9, and negative 8 together. And so I say, okay, it's just those terms that we had, and we say, okay, that result is negative 6. And so what is that saying? Well, that's saying that our result is a variable term is negative 6y. Again, we got that negative 6 by combining those together. Again, it's just like we had before. If you practice that IXL section, you'll see the actual modeling of it as well. Now, for the next step, again, if you just want to combine the constant terms, that's even simpler, because all you're doing is you are just adding those integers together. And so if you have positive 4, a negative 13, and a positive 2, very simply your result is negative 7. And so now what does that give us? Well, we have our simplified expression is going to be the following. So our simplified expression, again, all you have to do is write what you have below. So we simplified and we had negative 6y minus 7. Very straightforward. Again, that's half of that SOL item is just simplifying those algebraic expressions, which we just did. And now, okay, how can we draw a picture that goes along with it? In world geography, you have a key or legend, and it kind of says, okay, for every 1 inch is 500 miles or whatever it is. In math, it's the same way. We're saying, okay, we have a positive 1 or a negative 1. It's either filled in or not filled in, and then you have whatever variable you're using with a positive and negative as well. So how do we represent 6 negative y's? Well, we just have 6 of these filled in bars. So we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's going to be our picture. Again, when it says pictorial representation, it's just saying a visual, a picture, very simple. And so now how do we represent 7 negatives? Well, since it's 7 negative 1s, we just have exactly like I just said. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Again, it's super simple as long as you are actually following along and being able to back up your reasoning with a good statement. So now, on the back it says, simplify the following expressions and then draw the pictorial representation, meaning just the picture. And so usually what I do is I like to highlight my variable terms in one color. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight my variable terms in pink. So I have a negative 8q, I have a positive 12q, a positive 9q, and a negative 8q. So again, that's that 4 variable terms, and then I have one constant term that's right in the middle. That's that negative 13. Alright, so how am I going to do this? Well, again, just like we had before, all you're saying is this. You're saying, okay, I combine those like terms together. So I'm going to have that negative 8q plus 12q plus 9q minus 8q. Again, that gives us a result of 5q. So again, we're just looking at those coefficients as they are just adding those integers together. So that result would be 5q. And as we see, we don't have any other constant terms, so all we have to do is just write our simplified expression, which is, for this one, is just going to be that 5q minus 13. Again, if you're able to add and subtract numbers, you can do algebraic expressions. Super simple. Let's draw a picture. So we're saying we want 5 of these positive q's. So I'm going to have 5 of the rectangular bricks here. I'm going to have 13 of the negative ones. So I kind of drew out perfectly drawn rectangles and filled in squares. And if you notice, I have how many? I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 5 q's. Again, 5 positive q's. And then I have, let's see, how many negative ones do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So again, even if it takes a couple seconds to do, real simple, doesn't have to be as perfect as mine is, but you want to make sure that you can draw out that picture. Use this as a good stepping stone to be able to fill in those other examples for yourself.